Hello, everybody. Welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I am here tonight on Monday, on May 13th, 2024, and I am going over this week in astrology all the way from tonight, May 13th, until May 19th, 2024. So welcome if you're just joining me live here on Facebook. I am live on Facebook every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you ever want to join the live party, comment, and do all the fun stuff, you are totally welcome to come by. Or if you are one of the cool people watching the replay on YouTube, welcome. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the replay and commenting below and doing all the fun things. Hey, Charlie, welcome. You are my first person on the live tonight commenting, so welcome. I hope everybody is doing well. Yeah, we have a busy astrological week, and this is one of those weeks where there is kind of something going on almost every single day. There's a lot of astrological energy this week. We have some asteroid activity this week. We have the second chance new moon this week. We have a bunch of things going on astrologically speaking. So you'll want to tune in. You'll want to watch till the end because I always pull a card at the end. What do we need to know for this week? An angel card. And I also take questions at the end. I do sessions, for a living full time. This is how I make my income, but I do free sessions on these lives. So if you ever have a question, you have to be obviously willing to listen to a live response, on a public, forum. But if you ever want to have a, ask a free question at the end, that's wonderful. Hey, Kelly Z, welcome. And Melinda, welcome. And Molly too. Yay. Hi. Sagittarius and Capricorns, welcome. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead, post your astrological sign below. What sign are you? Sun, moon, rising sign, and where are you tuning in from? I love hearing where everybody's located around the world. It's pretty fun. I'm getting a lot of people on Facebook YouTube specifically that you guys are tuning in from around the world, which is exciting. Today was very big in astrology. I'm just going to get started here on Monday, May 13th. Today was a very big day, astrologically speaking. Anybody not feel quite right today? Well, there was a planet going on today, planetary alignment between the sun in Taurus and also Uranus in Taurus. And those two are together in the sky right now. They're conjunct. And of course, we are still talking about that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So you know how whenever I am saying to you guys, these planetary things are not just quick, they go on for a long time sometimes. Well, that's why. It's because literally they're still going on. All this stuff is still going on. I'm still talking about this, but we actually have another thing that's a bigger sort of thing transit-wise that's actually coming this week. So you won't want to miss that. But that's another thing that's going to be going on. There's two really big sort of transits that are going on right now. And of course, they're still in play. Like I said, we're going to continue to be feeling these all the way, I think, until, June, July. I think we're going to be feeling this Jupiter Uranus conjunction. The peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it was on April 20th, 2024. But it's still going on. And in fact, it's how it's still going on is not only they're still kind of close to each other, okay, Jupiter and Uranus, but what's happening is the planets are activating. Each time they activate them, that kind of re-ups it again. So right now, this week and today, we have the sun starting to activate both of these. So the sun's forming a conjunction today with Uranus in Taurus, and the peak of it was 5:14 a.m. Eastern time this morning on May 13th, but it's going to be active for this week, really. And then on Saturday, on May 18th, the sun is going to form a conjunction with Jupiter on May 18th. But Venus is getting involved with these two next. So she's going to be highlighting Uranus and Jupiter next. So she starts on Saturday, May 18th. Venus forms a conjunction with Uranus, and then the next week on the full moon's coming. Okay, on May 23rd, she's going to conjunct Jupiter. So see, it's Jupiter and Uranus. And so all the planets are sort of highlighting these. You can see how you know, this is being kept alive. You know, the moon's highlighting it every few days. You guys, if you guys follow my daily tidbits, which I post daily on my Facebook astrology page and also my Instagram page. These are and LinkedIn too. I post these daily tidbits. I call them astro tidbits. But that's a daily forecast, and you probably have seen me writing. The moon is highlighting the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. You know, so what does all this mean? So today, especially because the sun's highlighting, this is an annual thing where the sun highlights Uranus. It's just what's not annual is that it's also at the same time going to be, you know, highlighting Jupiter too. But Uranus, you know, is the great destabilizer, the change maker, the inspiration, but also can be something. I say it's the number one anxiety transit that you can have. Like, if you lean that way already, if you naturally lean that way, you're going to be feeling anxious potentially around this. This also increases shock waves in the body because it does affect electricity. So some of you out there might be experiencing this like almost like it's a Mercury retrograde because stuff gets a little glitchy. There's also earthquakes involved, and I just saw, just before jumping on the live, I just saw that there was an earthquake in the southern part of the United States today. So, I mean, that increases that. Sudden shakeups, unexpected events, something that's a shock or something that's unexpected or a surprise or some kind of like glitch or whatever. Now, Uranus isn't always a nasty planet or a naughty planet. I always say it's the wild card. You know, Uranus could go either way sometimes, you know, so sometimes it can be a good surprise and sometimes it's not a good surprise. I always say you could surprisingly win the lottery and that would be a great surprise, right? So you never know with Uranus. It's always a little different. Now it's in Taurus right now. Taurus is money, things you value, and also what you find to be beautiful in relationships too. I mean, so when you think about Taurus being ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. So that's going to be, you know, sort of a theme, especially once Venus jumps into the mix here, you know, coming on the weekend. Venus is going to be coming into the mix, and then that will enliven that whole Venetian quality of Taurus, because the ruler of Taurus is Venus. So that's going to be pulling love and money into the mix, you know, so that's a lot. I just had a major glitch. If any of you were on my live broadcast, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden my broadcast went down. So I apologize. I was just talking on the live broadcast. If you were one of the patient, kind, wonderful people that were commenting on my live broadcast, that there could be unexpected glitches, and somehow, I don't know what happened, but my system went down and I don't know what happened. So I was just talking about how the sun is going to be conjunct Uranus today, and it's unexpected surprises, shocks, and it could be experienced almost similar to a Mercury retrograde. We are experiencing that this week, and so I always say, as an astrologer, I am not immune. I can name these things, but I'm not immune from these things. So this sometimes happens, you know, even to me, where, you know, some unexpected event or something happens. You know, Uranus, like I said, is associated with earthquakes. We just had an earthquake, you know, in the South today, you know, in the United States, which is very weird, you know. You know, it's unexpected events, it's shockers, surprises, some kind of thing that's out of the blue, out of nowhere, which could be good or maybe not so good. Yes, Ashley Ann, your audiobook unexpectedly was released, went to #1. Love that, best-selling poetry audiobook. That's amazing. Congratulations, Ashley Ann. On Saturday, we're going to be having the sun conjunct Jupiter also. So the Jupiter-Uranus square, you know, it's something that's shocking, unexpected. Now, it's also inspiration. It's also thinking about things outside the box or thinking about something different. And really what at the height of like the core of what Uranus wants for us is change. Okay. It's just change. Hey, Dennis, with Andre, I love that. It's something, it depends on where Taurus is in your astrological chart in order to know how that will affect you on a personal level. I know a couple Tauruses are on here. How are you experiencing this? You know, I mean, because that's definitely one of those things that, you know, it is usually when we talk Taurus, we're talking about grounded, stable energy. But but you guys are probably getting really pushed to the limit here, Tauruses, because this is anything but grounded. It's ungrounded, unstable energy. And it's wanting us to be adaptable and flexible and open-minded and all these things, which, not to say that Tauruses can't be that, but you guys tend to be a little bit more of a fixed sign. I mean, in fact, you are a fixed sign. So fixed is fixed, you know? And so it's not to say that Tauruses can't change. How I perceive Tauruses is they'll change when they want to change. They have to decide what the change is. They don't like to have the change thrusted upon them. But with all of this Uranus-Jupiter friction and action, remember the last time that we saw Jupiter and Uranus come together in the sign of Taurus wasn't since 1941. That's the last time we've seen it in that sign. Now, it happens roughly every 14 years in different signs, but the last time it was in Taurus was 1941. So I mean, that was a long time ago, 80 something years ago. So I mean, you know, we're figuring out how to cope with all of this, and you know, it's a thing. So yes, Ashley Ann said, maybe my 5 mutable signs are helping your Taurus to get through this. Yeah, exactly, because it's a little bit of a, you got to be really open-minded and flexible. So it's like if life throws you a curveball in the beginning of this week, you're going to have to, you know, like kind of figure out how to adjust to that. And it doesn't mean that it is necessarily a bad curveball. I've said this before. I see sometimes sudden like things that come up, and it's like the new way of being, or the new way of, like, you know, if the universe like turn left, and then suddenly you turn right, sometimes that works out even better, like the new solution. But you have to be very crafty and think out, like I said, think outside the box to come up with solutions to things. Or, you know, if you think I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to do it this way, and then suddenly like they say no, it's not a hard no. It's like, okay, maybe we could work around this or find some other pathway. But there's a lot of problem solving, and sometimes what ends up happening is you forge a new path, right? You kind of think outside the box, and then maybe it could even be better, or at least comparable to whatever solution that you're having. So that's something that could happen during that time. I mean, it's a lot of energy. So, the sun forming the conjunction with Uranus, but then also we have Venus forming a sextile with Saturn. This also happened today on Monday, on the 13th at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. So that's the peak of that today. So we have Venus also in Taurus forming a sextile with Saturn in Pisces. And so this is a nice thing. I mean, this is also something that could help to stabilize some of the energy, just like a little tiny bit, okay? Venus forming an aspect with Saturn, that can stabilize just a little bit. Hey, Charlie, thank you so much. 50 stars, my first stars of this evening. I love that. Thank you. Hey, Sarah, welcome. Leo from Vermont, love that. So this is helping us to stabilize just a little. Like I said, Saturn likes to have things be stable, be calm, be, you know, kind of more even keeled, where Uranus is like, let's just blow this thing up and start over again. You know, I mean, Uranus can be really unpredictable that way. Yay, Andrea. 111 stars. I love that. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Stars, in case you're wondering, if you're new here, is just a little way of giving a financial tip to the broadcast. And thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And I believe you can do that now on YouTube in the form of a super chat, if that's something that you're inclined to do. So with Venus forming the sextile with Saturn, that helps a little bit to stabilize relationships, that helps a little bit to stabilize some finances, that helps us in creativity realm. Now remember, with Saturn, we're not talking about quantity, we're talking about quality. So we're not, if you're like, for example, if we're talking about love relationships, we're not talking about, you know, millions of options here, but maybe you have one really good one, or we want to drill down on that one really good one and have it be like, okay, what is the deal? What's the plan? Like, it's funny because Uranus is all about hookups, situationships, okay, Netflix and chill, or doing something that's very outside the box or different in some way when we talk about Uranus energy. this week, which is a little bit about, you know, kind of could be polyamory. It could be, you know, somebody who's racially or, you know, religious wise different from you. Like, this is outside the box thinking when it comes to relationships. Or maybe it's just an all long distance relationship or something that's just different for you. But then we get Saturn like, oh, do we have a plan? Are we going to, are they checking the boxes? And so those two being highlighted at the same time is a little funky, because Saturn wants to anchor us, and Saturn wants to, like, I don't care what you're doing, just like, let's have this be serious. You know, where Uranus is like Freebird, you know? So those two being in the same day, you might have felt a push and pull. You could have also experienced this as wired but tired. And like I said, Uranus, this is the annual conjunction. People with heart palpitations, people with seizures, people with migraine activity, people with muscle spasms, anything to do with the electrical system of the body can act up around Uranus transits. Now let's talk about the not so, we'll call it a rainbow colored unicorn in the room. We had some big time solar storms over the weekend. Did anybody out there get to see the aurora borealis, the northern lights, wherever you were living? Did anybody get to see them? Because we really had a major download. Now, is this good or bad? You know, I see a lot of astrologers saying this is wonderful for manifesting and we're getting downloads. Well, really what we got a huge download of is radiation from the sun. I'm just going to say that out loud. I was outside myself. I took a million pictures. I posted them on my personal page, but I was in the middle of receiving, I have shared with you guys before, but I'll just say it again. I have some heart arrhythmia issues, and my heart always knows when there's a solar storm before it's even announced. I get feedback from my heart. Now, if you think about a solar storm, that can glitch out radio stations. It can glitch out cell towers. In fact, one really bad solar storm, I can't remember what year it was a long time ago, actually made Canada lose power for 9 hours. Okay, it affected the power grid. So it can affect our electrical system of the body. I actually experienced that. No, it's not my head, and no, it's not made up. It's a real thing. So that coupled with Uranus can really cause some glitchiness. And I know a lot of people that have been telling me that are not kind of feeling a little funky, feeling a little like, I don't feel like amazing, but kind of not terrible either. I just feel a little weird. Well, that can be why, because we just received a lot of that. Now, I was outside for a full hour and a half in the taking pictures, and it's fine, but that is something that affects us. And those of us who are sensitive, and I know a lot of people who are sensitive on this broadcast that even watch me, can experience those things. So if you're not feeling well, I kind of feel like it's, great, manifest, do whatever you want to do as far as that goes. But when it comes to not feeling well, I think a lot of people feel maybe left out, or maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe they feel like something's wrong with them when they're not experiencing this amazing, kind of thing. Well, that's because it's the sun. And just so you know, it was initially predicted to be a G4. So if you think about the classifications, G3, G4, all the Gs, the classifications are equivalent in some ways to hurricane status. So they were predicting a G4. And actually it ended up being a G5, which is the biggest. It's like having a Hurricane 5, Category 5, thing. So for the solar storm was a G5, which is the maximum that you can have. And actually the sunspot that let off the flare was the size of Earth. It was literally the same size as our whole planet. So, we just got a, download of big energies. I had a lot of weird dreams all over the weekend. There was a lot of stuff I was experiencing, and some of it was good, but some of it wasn't. Like, it was kind of mixture ish. Hey, Rosalie, 50 stars. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, somebody said that might not be good for their fibromyalgia. Yeah, might not be. Oh no, Ashley, you got a serious sunburn on Saturday. Be careful. Be careful. Yeah, because that can really we have extra radiation in the air right now. There's extra, it's a little extra. It's like we're in an air fryer. Okay? So we got to be careful of that for real. Oh, Andrea, you fell asleep. I know I texted you. I didn't want to wake you up, but I wanted to let you know. Yes. Oh, good, Jenny Lee. You said pretty good. You did a lot of grounding. Yeah, I mean, so that can help. That is one way that's really good for grounding is getting outside bare feet, discharging through the bottom of your feet. Oh, obviously, it has to be safe. No glass or thorns or weird things, that you can step on. But going out and trying to ground your feet into the ground, that's a great way to discharge some of the energy. But I'll be honest, I wasn't feeling amazingly awesome sauce from it. I wasn't feeling terrible, but I wasn't feeling great either. I was sort of in between. And I definitely have had ever since last week, I think it was since Thursday, I've had runs of heart palpitations and things going on. I am under the care of a cardiologist, so just so you guys know, I take those things seriously, but it is something that affects the body. And so there is a scientist, and I can't remember his name, it was a long time ago, who did a study and realized that when the sun goes through these peaks and valleys, it's like every 13 years or so, the sun goes through these major solar flares and sunspots and things. There's an increased amount of violence on our planet during those years. So, we're either at or approaching the peak of one of these solar cycles. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on right now. I mean, not just in the US. I mean, even outside the US, it's violent and kind of crazy. So we are at a peak solar storm. If you think of the sun in astrology is equivalent, is really associated very strongly with masculine energy, which is a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more, sort of associated with those things. So yeah, it's something that we have. So, and we're going to be potentially having another round. They don't know yet, but they're going to have another round next weekend, this coming weekend. So, it'll be fun to kind of look. So just so you guys know, I was just looking for my phone. I realized I'm recording on my phone, but, there's apps that you can download that notify you. I have an iPhone, so you can get Aurora app, and it's free, and play around with that because they can send you notifications if you want to kind of be watching out for Aurora Borealis activity. And then a lot of people didn't realize you have to take a picture through your phone because a lot of the light human eyes cannot perceive at nighttime. So yes, if it's really, really, really super strong, you can see it with the naked eye. I, at points, could see the light, especially during the peak of it. I could see some pinks and greens and things like that. But really, the magic happens when you take a picture, and it has to be a picture. Some people just tried to view through their phone and said, "Oh, I don't see anything," and they went back inside. No, you have to take a picture because what happens is your phone camera is higher tech right now, good news. And so it adjusts for nighttime. So it's called a long exposure. So the picture, kind of takes a while at night. It's like it kind of takes a minute to kind of go through. That's because it's a long exposure, but that's what captures the magic. All of the beautiful colors and things that we can see. That's what captures the magic. So I feel like it's a public service announcement because even when I was walking around my neighborhood, I had people driving. It was almost like the eclipse, just so you know. I mean, there was people out all over the place, and people were driving like, "Where is it? Where? We don't see it." I'm like, "It's right here. All you have to do is point your camera," and it's literally happening right now. But people didn't realize. So just so you guys know, that's a thing. Okay, so that's today. That's also some of this energy from the sun. Okay, as far as so the sun is going to give us more energy potentially coming up in this next weekend. We're about to get another round of solar flares. So if your body is a body that reacts to that, and maybe you feel a little funky, maybe you feel a little headachy or a little weird, that can be why. So just so that you guys know. You might need to sleep a little more or whatever. Now, as we get into Wednesday, Wednesday is the hot spot today, this week. Tuesday, just so you know, tomorrow is the quietest day of this whole week on the 14th, May 14th. But Wednesday, May 15th, I'm going to spend a little while with because I got a lot to cover here. Okay, so Wednesday, May 15th, we have the second chance new moon, which is also called the second quarter new moon, and that's going to be in Leo. So the sun is in Taurus, the moon is in Leo. All of this is taking place at 25 degrees Taurus and Leo. Okay, so wherever that is in your astrological chart, that's where you will feel it. Yeah, so this is a little blending of an energy here. This is a time where we are reevaluating. Okay, we planted new seeds back on the last new moon, which was on May 7th, and that was, if you remember, a super new moon in Taurus. So remember, we planted seeds back then. Adjustment that we need to make for these planting of the old seeds that we just did. And so most of the time the seeds are just fine, we don't have to do very much. But if you need to, you might need to tweak some things. And what I mean by seeds is planting our intentions, planting our manifestations, planting what we want in this lifetime, all the wonderful things. So we might have to do some tweaks, and that's okay. And it's not a big deal. It's a time of reevaluation, really. That's the second chance new moon. And so if you guys forgot to write your new moon manifestation list last week, this is the time to write it before the full moon, because remember, we're going to be burning things on the full moon, and that's on the 23rd of May. So this new moon, the second chance new moon, we're halfway between the 2 points. We're halfway between the new moon and the full moon. And so that is the thing, okay, that we're going to be doing. The other thing that's going to happen that day is Mercury is actually finally moving out of Aries. Mercury's been in Aries a long time because remember, we had that whole Mercury retrograde in Aries. So I feel like Mercury has been in Aries too long. And I'm ready to get rid of Mercury in Aries. Remember, Mercury in Aries is a little bit punchy, a little bit aggressive as far as how we talk, communicate, get our ideas across, all those things. It's impatient, it's aggressive, all that stuff. So now Mercury is moving into Taurus, which is a little bit slower of an energy, a little bit more patient of an energy, a little bit more thorough of an energy, a little bit, I don't know. I was almost going to say determined, but I don't know if that's the right word. They're determined in different ways, the bull and the ram. They're determined the ram likes to start new things, and then often Tauruses are finishing things. So that's a good time to wrap things up, to finish things, and that's going to be going on from May 15th all the way until June 3rd. We're going to be Mercury in Taurus time frame. So that's going to help us to slow down a little bit, to be a little bit more grounded, to think about what we're going to say before we actually just say it, because that's how we were for this last, couple months really, of Mercury being in Aries. So now we get to slow down, be a little bit more patient, be a little bit more thorough and more mindful about what we're doing here. And I think that is a good thing. Okay, so Mercury is going to be in Taurus, okay, for a couple, 2-3 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And that'll be a fun thing. Okay. Also on Wednesday, we got a lot of planetary stuff on Wednesday. Moon Lilith is going to be forming a trine with the sun on Wednesday. So a trine, yes, is positive. Oh, thank you, Rosalie. 63 stars. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So that is going to be Black Moon Lilith in Virgo is going to form a trine with the sun in Taurus. So earth signs are going to be activated for sure. I know a couple Capricorns that are on here as well. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Rosalie. You guys are awesome. And so that is something that is going to, now trines are positive, yes, and they're going to be aligning in earth signs, and that's positive, yes, but it's Black Moon Lilith. And Lilith is sort of similar to Pluto. Okay, so the sun is going to be forming a trine with her. So Black Moon Lilith likes to sort of suppress things sometimes, likes to have something that, is wild and, untamed, and she's like she can be a little bit, you know, kind of feisty. And so when the sun shines the light on Black Moon Lilith, that's a little uncomfortable for Lilith, because Lilith likes to be in the dark. Literally the definition of Black Moon Lilith. So she's not a planet. She is the dark side of the moon. Okay, Black Moon Lilith. So that's why they call her Black Moon Lilith, because she's the dark side of the moon. So when the light shines brightly on Black Moon Lilith, that's uncomfortable for her, because she likes to kind of be wild and feisty behind the scenes. Okay, she's not totally comfortable with kind of coming out and, you know, doing her wicked ways in public. And so there's something there on Wednesday. And as we get close to Wednesday, the peak or height of it is on May 15th, Wednesday, and that's going to be at 4:36 a.m. Eastern time. A lot of things going on, and we have one more. Okay, Ceres is going to go retrograde in Capricorn. Now, Ceres is the great mother, right? And so I've been talking about her being in Capricorn. She's in Capricorn an extra long time now, because she's going retrograde this year. And she is going to be retrograde between May 15th, so this Wednesday, all the way until August 26th. Now, she is considered to be a dwarf planet, which is the same category as Pluto, just so you know. So, I mean, she's bigger than an asteroid. She used to be classified as an asteroid, but now she's classified as a dwarf planet. So she's a little bit of a bigger deal than some of the other ones that are an asteroid. So Ceres is in Capricorn. The great mom is a business mom. She's a CEO. Okay, she runs her life like a company. Okay, and so when we look at that, where's Capricorn in your chart? Where's the nurturing, the caretaking, all the things that you need to be kind to yourself? How do you nurture others? How do you care for yourself? Even when we have Capricorn Ceres taking place. So she's gonna be retrograde all the way from May 15th to August 26th. That's a long time to be retrograde. So she's gonna be retrograde almost all summer. Yes, she is associated with the harvest. You know, somebody said, and you know, so that's something. Yes, Rita, you have a Capricorn moon. Yeah, so exactly. So what's Ceres doing in your astrological chart? You'll know how that will affect you on a personal level. But Capricorn, yeah, if it's in your area of career, then that's affecting your career or whatever. She's going retrograde. So this is just where we're going to reevaluate. How do we, what are we nurturing? So use the word nurture, and then think about wherever Capricorn is in your chart. If it's in your area of marriage, you need to nurture your relationship. If it's in your area of health, literally, you need to nurture yourself and your physical body, or something with you might have to go back to the drawing board, right? Because that retrogrades, that's all it is. We're going back to the drawing board. So if it's in your area of communication, okay, how do you speak kindly with words? Okay. In your area of career, you might need to nurture your career, right? So yeah, Kelly Z. So that's Capricorn 6th house is your health area, right? So you might need to nurture, but also secondarily, it's coworkers and your work environment. So you might need to nurture something with that. So wherever Capricorn is in your chart, that's where you need to nurture, right? So Charlie said second house is money. You need to nurture your wallet, you know? So that's where we need to nurture ourselves. And you know, it's a thing, you know, and also if you think of nurture, a form of nurturing is nourishing your body, right? So Ceres is an agricultural goddess. She's in charge of food. She's in charge of sustenance. She's in charge of, you know, grains and all the different things. So what do you feed? Okay, what area of that life can you feed? And I don't mean literally, but I mean like, what can you do? And we're going to have to go back to the drawing board. Like, how do you sustain yourself? Okay, in those areas, okay, wherever Capricorn is, how do you sustain yourself? And so that's going to be happening. Again, it's considered to be a minor thing, but I do use the asteroids and the different things. And that is something that Ceres is an important one. I include her in my daily tidbits. And so it's something that she's been in Capricorn all the way since February 8th. And she's going to continue to be in Capricorn, even though she's retrograde. The whole time she's going to be in Capricorn. She's not leaving and going backwards like another one that's going to be happening the next day, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But she's going to be in Capricorn from February 8th all the way until December 8th of this year. So almost the whole year Ceres is going to be in Capricorn. Now, Ceres is a beautiful, kind of thing. I mean, she's a goddess, I mean, that's lovely. I mean, so it's something that is, definitely beneficial and positive, but it's something that we need to nurture ourselves. So Melinda said, what if Capricorn's your sun? And then Rita said, what about if it's your moon? Well, that's about nurturing yourself. So the sun is like your sort of total being, your ego. Where do you shine? How do you present yourself? Those types of things. And that can be the sun. Like how do you shine? And so you might be needing to go back to the drawing board for whatever reason to nurture yourself. The sun is really kind of like generally the deal, of us. Where the moon might be, you need to nurture your emotional health. That's, okay, if you have a Capricorn moon, that's going to be your emotional health. So it's something that we basically need to nurture something, and it's going back to the drawing board. Maybe we've gotten a little far away from nurturing. Here's the thing, Capricorn Ceres is nurturing through kind of like money and business and planning and strategizing and coming up with a system or, some sort of foundation. So it's not necessarily warm and squishy as it would be maybe in some other signs. It's more about finding the function, that's a very Capricorn job. But maybe you do need to be a little bit gentler with yourself, kinder with yourself, finding that compassion, finding that the warm and squishy place to land. That could be part of this. We might have gotten too sort of focused on things and forgot about that aspect of that. And also too with Capricorn, that can be nurturing a parent or a loved one. I mean, that can involve caretaking for another. But again, you might have to go back to the drawing board. How do you caretake for yourself? Because sometimes we forget about that especially when we're really focused on something. And then we have another busy day coming the next day on Thursday. There's a lot of busy days this week. So on Thursday, May 16th, 2024, we have the big planet transit that I was kind of alluding to in the beginning of the broadcast. Hopefully it wasn't cut out completely. But we have Ceres, which just went retrograde, is forming a square with Chiron. Again, if you read my daily posts, I've been referencing this because these two are coming to a square, a peak, a height, a maximum right now on Thursday at 10:27 a.m. Eastern time, so 7:27 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast, May 16th. And so Ceres in Capricorn, Chiron is in Aries. And so these two are forming a square. Now, I just got done saying we have to go back to the drawing board about this nurturing thing. Well, Chiron wants to heal something. So we really are going to be asked right out of the gate, right at the beginning of this retrograde, you got to heal this thing. Wherever it is, it's being stress tested in this Capricorn area, and leave it to an Aries to stress test the Capricorn, but that's basically what it is, and what Chiron wants in Aries is what about me and how about me, am I meeting my own needs here? And so again, we totally like to caretake, especially a lot of the people who watch this broadcast are very caring people. You might be thinking all about the dog, the cat, the son, the daughter, the co-workers, everybody but yourself, your spouse, all the different people in your life. But what about you? And that's what Chiron's saying here. Now, when I say that this is a big transit this week, it's not just a big transit this week, it's a big transit this month. It's just not classified as a major transit like this Jupiter-Uranus thing because they're not major planets. If they were, this would be front page news, like even in 2024 potentially, because almost this whole month they're aspecting. So if you've been reading my posts, you'll see the moon is doing something with Ceres, something with Chiron, something with Ceres, something with Chiron. And so I alluded to at the end of the month, Mars is jumping into the picture, and Mars is going to start aspecting Ceres and Chiron, Ceres and Chiron, Ceres and Chiron. You're going to see me writing about that. So out of this month, the two major transits are the Jupiter-Uranus transit and the Ceres-Chiron transit. And they're active this whole entire month. So even though it's a peak this Thursday, and that's when it's going to be the maximum, it's still going to be going on and on and on and on and on. And you're going to be seeing me referencing that on and on and on and on and on. So if you see that on my post, that's what I'm talking about. And it's all about you, boo. It's like you got to look and see if something has gotten out of balance with your caretaking. Let's say you're an obsessive caretaker. Let's say you're somebody who really just always puts other people first. Or let's say that you're the last one on your list of things to do for the day. Well, that's about to change because this Chiron thing is going to be like, what do you need to heal this? You can't just keep doing this, And it's telling Ceres, like, get your stuff together, nurture yourself. And unfortunately, sometimes we need to nurture ourselves. It comes, in not a good form. We can fall, we can get sick, we can have, unexpected things, and then down you go. And then you're forced to care for yourself. So don't let that happen. Do it before, some kind of thing and go, you know what? I'm going to take an hour for me. I'm going to take, a weekend for me, a night for me, whatever you can squeeze, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Let's say you got a newborn baby, you can't take very long, 5 minutes maybe. But at least something to kind of come back to yourself, to nurture some aspect of yourself or your life. And like I said, it depends on where Aries is and where Capricorn is in order to know where that little crunch is happening. Now, we've had an asteroid that has been retrograde. And that is Pallas Athena. I haven't talked about her in a little while. She's been just going along, Pallas Athena, Scorpio. So if you are a Scorpio, if you're a Taurus, if you're one of the other fixed signs, Leo and Aquarius, you will be feeling Pallas Athena. But remember, asteroids, and she is classified, by the way, as an asteroid. We feel them as a subtler energy. Pallas Athena is the one that I have nicknamed Mrs. Mars. Now, I've gotten a little pushback on that, okay, on YouTube. I had a couple people say, you should call her by her real name. I call her by that nickname only to teach, to help people who are newer to astrology to be able to associate her with a type of energy, just like I say that Lilith is similar to Pluto, only she's the female version. Well, Pallas Athena is similar to Mars, only the female version, instead of Mars being the male. And she's very smart and she's very powerful. In fact, she used to teach men in the army how to be men and how to fight, she's a badass. She's the strategy of war versus Mars, which is like the knock you over the head, aspect of war. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Yay, 100 stars. I appreciate you. Hey, Noel, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Yes, thank you, Ashley Ann. She said you appreciate those associations. I only do that to teach, no disrespect to the goddesses. I don't want to, hey, Joanne, welcome. I don't want to, take away from the power of the goddesses, because the power of the goddesses, they're badass women. And we don't want to necessarily say, oh, well, that's so-and-so's wife. We don't want to say that, right? I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying it is in an association kind of way, so that you can kind of understand the energy. But she's badass. And so she is retrograde. Here's the thing. She's been in Sagittarius all this time, Pallas Athena. She's very similar to Mars, only not brute force aggression. She's strategy. She's the chess player. She's the master chess player. And she is very crafty. She's good with her hands. In fact, in Athens, she's considered to be the one that overlooks, Athens. I mean, she's said to protect Athens. So, I mean, that's amazing. Okay. Just like Ceres protects Vermont. Ceres is on top of the statue of Ceres is on top of the state building in Vermont. If anybody's ever seen that, you can Google it if you don't live in Vermont. But the gold dome, state building, Ceres, the statue, because she protects harvest. She protects the grains and she protects the harvest. So yeah, she'll be retrograde this summer. So hopefully Vermont won't have the same amount of floods that we had last year. Ooh, that's a little scary. But when it comes to Pallas Athena, I mean, she's a badass. So she's been in Sagittarius this whole time. Now she's been retrograde. She's been in Sagittarius. Now she's going backwards into Scorpio. She is going to be in Scorpio between May 16th and September 9th. So this is another long one in Scorpio. But here's the thing. We've already had Pallas Athena in Scorpio, which actually started last year, November 19th, 2023, all the way until February 6th of 2024. So November 19th to February 6th. What were you doing in that time? Okay. And that might have had something to do with Pallas Athena being in Scorpio. Where's Scorpio in your chart? Because you got a little bit of Mrs. Mars in that area. Okay. So she's a little feisty. She's a little bit more aggressive in Scorpio. Okay. So she has been retrograde since March 29th, roughly. She'll be retrograde all the way until July 9th. So this is kind of like, how sometimes I'll talk about like Mercury retrograde, the whole, sometimes the whole retrograde is just in one sign, but sometimes it goes back far enough that it goes into a whole, it goes backwards into the sign before it. That's what this Pallas Athena is doing. So she was in Sagittarius. Now she's going back into Scorpio, and she's going to finish out the retrograde in Scorpio. So she's going back into Scorpioville. So if anybody out there is a Scorpio, or if you have Scorpio in your chart somewhere, or like some, aspecting something, then she is going to be in there. Yes, she's deep diving. Ashley Ann said, deep diving into the depths of planning and strategizing. Exactly. This is exactly what we are meant to do. It's going to be, Ashley Ann, retrograde from March 29th all the way until July 9th. That's the total retrograde. But she'll be in Scorpio from this Thursday, May 16th, all the way until September 9th. So that's how long she'll be in Scorpio. So we got a little ways to go with Pallas Athena. So these two, Pallas Athena and Ceres, are definitely going to be longer, in these signs, longer than normal, for sure. So that's kind of a thing. Okay, so I think I got done Thursday. Friday, here we go again. Okay, so Friday we got Mercury is forming a square with Pluto. So I was just saying how we got Black Moon Lilith on Wednesday, and now we have Mercury square Pluto on Friday morning, early morning, 3:44 a.m. Eastern time, and that's Friday, May 17th, 3:44 a.m. Eastern time. So almost midnight, 12:44 a.m. on the West Coast. So it's really between Thursday and Friday. Okay. We got to watch what we say as we get close to this thing, because that's a hot sizzler. Okay. And Mercury is talking, communicating, and Pluto is dark. Pluto is power struggles. Pluto is, can be a little sharp and pointy, we'll say. Now, okay, could it be positive? Sure. I mean, it's a square, so that's not so great. The best way that this could help us is through deep cathartic conversations. But how I think it would end up happening is maybe somebody says something that's the wrong thing, and then the person's like, what did you mean by that? And then maybe it goes into a deep thing to sort of suss out, like, oh, well, I didn't know you meant that, and that came from my childhood, and blah, 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 so that's the positive aspect of it. Otherwise, it could just be pointy and ouchy. So we really got to watch. And as we get close to that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we really want to try to communicate with more of like a feather, okay? Before you fire off that text or that email, you know, that person just, they always say this, and it's like, just take a breath. Take a deep breath, because that can be pointy. So just watch that, because that can be a little bit aggressive. And Pluto is like, gets to the heart of something, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you said that just like your mother, you know, and that's like one of those like kind of comments. It really digs deep, you know. So we gotta watch that with Pluto being around and being activated by Mercury, which is how we talk, and also travel, communicating. So we don't want to flip somebody the bird while we're driving or whatever. Now, as we get into the weekend, it doesn't calm down. It just keeps going. Okay, so again, we have a potentially G whatever force, geomagnet storm coming from the sun, potentially, like I said, as we get into the weekend. Okay, we have a lot of big energies this weekend. It's just a lot of energy. It's a ton of energy. It's just like the aurora borealis. It's a lot of energy, but that's what makes us be able to see beautiful colors. If we did a nice little reframe there, that's the G whatever force, you know, radiation is what is pretty. Okay. All right. So we got 3 big things on Saturday. So in the morning on Saturday, May 18th, we have Mars in Aries forming a conjunction with the north node of the moon in Aries. This is happening on May 18th. The peak, the height of it, the pinnacle of it is 4:01 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so that's something that is aligning us, right? That's what's action, that's drive, that's ambition, that's motivation, pushing us toward our destiny. That's the north node of the moon, right? And so that's powerful. Okay, this is like, don't just talk, just do it. Just to have action. Don't stop making lists, stop making plans. Just put it into action. That's what this is saying. So if there's something you've been wanting to do, because remember what I was saying, we had the north node of the moon and we had all these planets going over the north node of the moon. That was all involved, that was initiated during this time, was all involved with that big, huge eclipse, the big eclipse on April 8th, the big, giant, big one. Okay, the sun was aligned with the north node of the moon. Mercury was aligned with the north node of the moon. Venus was, you know, all these planets have been going over that north node of the moon. Well, now it's Mars's turn. And Mars is our, okay, we thought about it. We have the concept. We made the plans. We did all the things. We got to do it, boo. You just got to do it. Like, put it into action. It's go time. And that is taking a step, an actionable step. Now, you might say, I can't take an action. Like, oh, I thought of every which way. Well, then write it down. That's an action. Writing something down is an action. It's kind of, you know, not the big action that this is really calling for, but it's some action. Okay. But this is time to really do a step. And the peak of it's Saturday morning, but we're going to be pushed, you know, I mean, it's conjunct pretty much right now on Monday. So this whole week is about what's our destiny? Are we coming into alignment with it? The next big thing, remember we had the sun highlighting Jupiter and Uranus and Jupiter. Well, now we have Venus highlighting Uranus and Jupiter. So this starts on Saturday. And this is going to be Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, is going to be conjunct Jupiter. This happens yearly, just so you know. That's the peak of it is going to be 7:41 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. And so Venus is our love life, our finances, and it's doing something different, doing something unusual, being outside the box, getting on a different dating platform, or dating somebody who's totally different than your normal type, or you know, even thinking about an investment that's different. I will say this, because today Sun is conjunct Uranus, and now Saturday Venus is conjunct Uranus. This is picking up the Uranus energy, like I've said, you know, earlier. But it is risk-taking energy. You know, normally I'm like, be careful, slow down, blah, 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 blah. No, this is time to take a risk. This is time to take a chance. This is time to, I don't mean doing it stupidly, like I'll bungee jump without a safety thing. That's not smart. Don't do that. But a calculated risk, you know, a risk that, you know, it could be very beneficial. okay, on as we get, especially as we approach this weekend. And then the big thing happens. The sun is going to form its annual conjunction with Jupiter, and that's the lottery. Okay, so anybody out there, I don't condone gambling, whatever. You guys, whatever wins or losses you get, it's all on you, boo. Hopefully there's a lot of winning. Okay. The sun is going to form. That's considered to be a very lucky transit, one of the luckiest transits, really, other than Venus conjunct Jupiter, which is coming up. So we got that happening. Only that's going to be on the full moon, so it's that has a little weird connotation with it. But the sun conjunct Jupiter, that's nice, and that's going to be in Taurus. So any Taurus, Scorpio, you guys are going to be feeling this. Leo, Aquarius, you'll be feeling this. If you are in Earth sign, Capricorn and Virgos, you guys will be feeling this too. But we'll all feel it somewhere. Where's Taurus in your chart? Okay, and you'll have where's your luck, your good fortune, your optimism, your expansion. Because if you think of the two largest objects in our solar system, which is the sun, and also the largest planet, which is Jupiter. The sun's a star technically, right? But they're both the biggest things. They're coming together. Woo! That's it. That is it. So the peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it is 2:45 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, May 18th. This is all Saturday, May 18th. The Destiny and Mars thing, that's Saturday, May 18th. Okay, Venus going into taking a crazy chance and dating somebody outside the box, that's Saturday, May 18th. And then we got this Jupiter thing, Saturday, May 18th. So see, it could be pretty cool if you take a chance, take a risk. These are all positive things. It's just a lot of it. And when I've noticed, whenever there's just a lot of energy, even if it's a lot of good things, like think about if there was 4,000 rabbits in one room, that's a lot of rabbits. Even though rabbits are really cute, I don't know if you'd want 4,000 of them like all over you. I probably would, but but maybe that would be a little weird. Like, that's a lot. So yeah. So thank you, Rosalie. 20 stars. I appreciate it. The chat's going crazy here. Lottery ticket time. Yes, that's Rosalie said lottery tickets are your favorite. Somebody has happy birthday. I think it's Joanne. Happy birthday. You'll be recording music that day. That's awesome, Maria. Congratulations. That sounds really good. So we have one more thing on Sunday. And then I'm going to get into questions and things that you might have for me. I know I don't want this broadcast to be too long, but we have the sun forming a sextile with Neptune on Sunday. I feel like that is our kind of, chill day, I guess. We don't have too much astrological energy on Tuesday, the 14th, tomorrow. But we also, Sunday the 19th is pretty chill. When Neptune comes in, everything gets a little sleepier. It's almost like Saturday is up here, and then Sunday's like, we're going to take a nap. That's a lot, I'm going to take a nap. Sunday is about resting, rejuvenating, kind of chilling out. The sun forming a sextile with Neptune is dreamy and imaginative and floaty and spacey and all that kind of stuff. So Neptune is in Pisces. The sun is in Taurus. That's a beautiful sextile. That's on May 19th at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. And so that's something that, it's a little bit like we can just relax. That's a good day to take a nap. That's a good day to watch a movie. That's a good day to read a book or take a bubble bath or whatever thing it is. It's a good day to sort of get, come down from all that, because Saturday's busy. It's a busy time. So we have a lot of busy days this week. Astrologically speaking, there's a lot. So whenever this happens and we have a busy week, take it. Luckily, Ceres is in there and Chiron's in there, right? Reminding us to nurture ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to love ourselves, to get rest. Look, life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Sometimes we have these times that we're sprinting. That's the sprint's the all out, like I gotta just do this. But life is a marathon. You need snacks. You need rest. You need to have downtime. You need to talk to loved ones. You need to connect. You need to do all those things. You need to ground yourself. Get outside in your bare feet. Ground yourself. Get on a beach. Get on a grass or some kind of thing. If you can ground yourself that way. But we're going to have to do a little grounding because it could be a lot. It could be a lot of energy there. So I hope that helps everybody. Oh my gosh. Yes, Taurus is on your 8th house. Oh, that's definitely money. 8th house is money, my dear. So North Node, yeah, all that's 8th house is money and finances. So that's some stuff right there. So I'm open to taking questions if anybody has some. I can only do a few tonight because I don't want the broadcast to be too long. And then I'm going to pull a card for the week. What do we need to know for the week? But we have a lot of astrological energy. And like I said, Andrea quoted me, life is a marathon. You need snacks. Yes. I don't really feel like it makes a huge difference, Noel. You said you have a yellow sapphire ring. What finger should you wear it on? Yellow sapphire is, I'm kind of leaning towards actually the middle finger because that middle finger actually is associated with the liver, and yellow chakra is your solar plexus, which is your liver. So that could be a nice area, but I don't think it makes too big of a difference. I wouldn't think so. Yellow is all about having, if you think of yellow as sunshine, right? It's all about being able to be confident, to believe in yourself, to all that good stuff. So it's really good if you ever need confidence. That's a really good ring to wear. Noel. Okay, I'm not getting any other questions here. All right, well, we have a busy week this week. We have, just to recap extremely quickly, because I know there was a lot, we have the Jupiter-Uranus thing that is going to be going on, okay, and that is going to be happening here. And that started today with the sun forming a conjunction with Jupiter, and then on Saturday, May 18th, the sun will form a conjunction with Jupiter, and then Monday was Uranus. I'm sorry if I said Jupiter. And then we have on Wednesday, we have the second chance new moon in Leo. So that's all about shining your light brightly, okay, and getting out there and doing all the things. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you, Leo from Arkansas. Love that. 99 stars. I appreciate all your stars. You guys are awesome. Then we're going to be moving into shifting gears with Taurus, Mercury moving into Taurus, and we're going to be able to talk and express ourselves a little bit more slowly and a little bit more thoughtfully and a little bit more, mindfully. I will say our communication will slow down just a bit. And then we have Black Moon Lilith highlighting the sun, which means something could come out, like some kind of thing we'd rather suppress, and also good news is that kind of pushes us to be ourselves too. We have a lot of energy this week pushing us to be ourselves. Then we have that big, Ceres and Chiron reminding us to nurture something in our life. We have to nurture ourselves, nurture something. Pallas Athena's going back into Scorpio. We have Ceres going retrograde this week. There's a lot of switches and things happening. Friday, we got to be careful. We got to be careful as we get into Thursday and Friday with talking, because that could get us into hot water. We could say something that's a little too sharp or pointy. But boy, we have probably one of the biggest power days of the whole month, I would say, is as we get into the 18th. That is a big power day. With the sun, forming a conjunction with Jupiter, Venus forming a conjunction with Uranus, and then we had Mars forming a conjunction with the North Node of the moon. That's a lot. That's a lot. Luckily, we have a rest day on Sunday. Thank you, Maria. 99 stars. I appreciate you so much. You guys are awesome. All right, so I'm going to pull some, somebody, should you correct the press release? If you can, Ashley, I would say, let me ask the cards and see, I'm going to answer this quick question, then I'm going to pull a card for the week. What does Ashley need to know about? Yeah, it's saying it's going to be fine in the long run. So if you decide to pull it or not pull it, either way, it's showing up as something to be good. Yep, I just answered that. It's good on Saturday. Good days on Saturdays. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for the week. What do we need to know? What does everybody need to know for this week? I'm feeling guided to use one more deck here, so hold on. Can't say it enough. Saturday's a power day. I try to give you guys these heads up on these broadcasts so you guys can make plans. All right, so what do we need to know about this week in astrology? Everything we need. Ooh, wow, the universe picked for me. Oh, wow. Okay. Stay true to yourself. There's a lot of planetary energy guiding us this week about that message over and over and over again. Don't compromise or water down your ideas. Listen to, trust, and follow your inner voice. Stay true to yourself. And then because there's happy news coming. Happy news is coming, okay? Your prayers are answered in a creative way. And I told you Uranus is going to answer those, you know, it might be creative. We might be thinking outside the box or having to go around the corner and through the woods and all the different things. But this is about aligning with yourself. I'm going to do one more card here. What do we need to know this week from the angels, the spirit guides and guardians? What do they want us to know? Yeah, and there's a lot of learning that we can do. Like when Uranus takes us off the beaten pathway, guardian angel card, okay, learning experience, because that's what Uranus does. It takes us off the beaten path, okay? And we see the scene. Hey, you might have found a shortcut you never knew existed. You might have found a better way to go. You might have found a more beautiful way to go. You might have found a less congested way to go, right? So that's a metaphor for life here. I mean, you know, so if you're doing something this week and, you know, how do you make lemons out of lemonade, right? You know, or lemonade out of lemons, right? I mean, so it's something that we might want to explore something different, and that's okay too. So be open, really be open this week. Be open, be flexible, be adaptable, you know, be resourceful. All those are good key words for this week, you know, because we're going to need it a little bit, and we're going to have to put on the thinking cap. So don't freak out if something, you know, kind of puts a glitch in your plans, because the glitch might be there to help you. Okay. So again, if you haven't written out your new moon manifestation list, write that out on Wednesday. And I'm available for personalized astrological sessions. If anybody ever wanted to have a reading with me, feel free to send me a DM through social media, text message if you know my phone number, or an email. Email, I'm not as great. I'm just going to be honest, I'm not as great at answering that. I haven't gotten an online scheduler yet, which I do need, and I realize that. But you guys are amazing. And if you haven't yet, please like my Facebook page and or my YouTube channel, because that way it'll make sure that it's in your feed, because you know what happens if you don't interact with a post, then I go away or anybody else that posts that you're interested in, they go away. So all right, everybody, have a wonderful night. Lots of blessings. Namaste. Take care and have a great week.